Hello, you. Welcome to the weekly update. As you know, I try to, over this long journey, I try to give you insights into kind of all different areas of what we're doing to bring MAGFAST to the world. And this week, I want to talk about logos. Those of you who have been with MAGFAST from the start of this journey might recognize this. This is a little bit of one of those "what were we thinking" things when I see the color here. This was the initial version of the logo. We had, I think it was probably fashionable at the time to be mixing upper and lowercase, so we had lowercase mag and uppercase fast. We felt that wasn't strong enough, so along the way, increased the size of the smiley, made the MAGFAST bolder. It's actually a rule we have that it should always be uppercase. But as we move towards production and figuring that this logo is going to be printed right onto all of your products and all the packaging and everything, Amy, my wife, who's a graphic designer, said, "You know what? We need to have a kind of refresh here." One of the thoughts was that the smiley face, as fond as we are of it, and it's a registered shape, a registered trademark that we own. We felt that it was kind of old-fashioned. We purchased it from the old company. But its truth is that its origins are in a charger that plugs into the wall. And of course, MAGFAST is about so much more than that now. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been on a little journey, and I just thought I would take you on it now because I think it's kind of interesting. So let's look at the word itself, first of all. We'd already settled on the fact that it should always be uppercase. Here it is in Helvetica. I'm sure you've heard of Helvetica. If you've never looked at the history of it, it is truly a fascinating font. But it's not the one that we're using. We already have a kind of a corporate font that we love. It's called Gotham. So let's do this and just turn it into Gotham. So here's the letter shape that we like, and we use Gotham at various weights in various places. Here it is in super thin. It's very, very pretty. And there's book. And the one that you've seen as part of the old logo here is bold, Gotham bold. But when we looked at it, we felt, could we be a little bolder? And the answer is yes. It's a sort of subtle difference, but this is just a little thicker and a little more confident. Excuse me, moving it around like this. But when we zoomed in on it, we noticed, I mean, we knew, but we focused on the fact that the corners here are very sharp. And the thing about MAGFAST as a brand is that it's sort of strong, but with a kind of kindness and a softness to it. And we looked at our, where is it? Over here. Here's MAGFAST Life. Let me make the perspective right so it looks human and normal. You've seen this from a few weeks ago. If you're seeing this for the first time, no, we're not putting these bright colors on it. It's all going to be beautiful alpine white or forest green. But let's look at it straight on. And if you look at it, what you've got a perfect square with these little kind corners on here, which is why it feels so great in your hand. It's 83 millimeters from side to side, 3 millimeter curve in here. So we thought, what if we took the letters here and gave them the same curvature, the same kind, soft curvature as the product. And here's the M of MAGFAST with exactly the same curve in here. It turns out that as you move around the letter, you can't actually put the same radius in each place, because if you put it here, it winds up looking far too big. If you put it here, it winds up looking too small. So by hand, we've adjusted these corner radii, I think is probably the plural of radius, isn't it? The corner radii we've made 3 millimeters, the same as all of the products. Here's the product again. 3 millimeter radius curve, 3 millimeter radius curve, or proportionately the same, 3 millimeters out of 83. And here's what happens when you do this to the whole word. Now, if you're being super observant, you might have spotted one other thing, which is if we go back to the original font here, let me make it smaller. do apologize for the way this is whizzing around the screen. If we bring it smaller like this, the way the font is built, each letter doesn't know. Some fonts actually can account for this, like a small f beside a small I will sometimes incorporate the dot of the I in with the f or whatever. But this font doesn't know which letter is next to it. And we felt that whilst this looks really strong, there was a chance to make a very subtle adjustment to the font as well as the corners, which was that here, this F could maybe be just altered to match the slant of the A, which would just have a little feeling of speed to it, of fastness to it. And so you can see here that we have done this. We've got this this angle in here that makes it a little bit different. Chatting amongst the team the other day, someone was mentioning, if I just type in FedEx logo here, FedEx logo. This is very famously the FedEx logo. You just go to images and bring one up large on the screen here. This is a sort of a thing that you either know it or you don't, and as soon as you can't unsee it once you've seen it. But you may not have noticed that here's the FedEx logo, and there's this amazing arrow that's sort of hidden in plain sight right in the middle of it. You see this arrow right here between the E and the X, and we felt there was a chance to just put a little kind of hidden signal, a little hidden speed signal into the word. Now, normally, of course, you don't see it quite as big as this. You have to produce all these different versions for different places that it's going to be used. We settled on our green as well. Then you go on social media. You need something that goes in a circle. The word would be far too small by itself. So can I bring these towards the center of the screen a little bit here? Here we go. Social media often that you upload a square, but you get a circle. So we wanted to make sure that it was going to look good under those circumstances. And let me show you the first application of it, which is actually live on the website already. That's not our website, which is, here it is, live for the first time at magfast.com. If you're watching this video on the updates blog, probably you're seeing this logo up above the video on the web page right now. And just for contrast, let's flip back and show you what it was like before, which I don't know about you. I feel it's okay, but it's significantly weaker. I feel that there's more strength and more care in here. And one of the comments that we had during feedback this week was that it's sort of gone from looking homemade to looking like something that you spend $50,000 to get from a professional design agency. I don't know if you feel that it's that great, but Philip, who's our 3D animator, who does all of the beautiful pictures that you've seen for us, who actually did this work, I was saying to him how pleased I was with it. And this is, you could spend kind of an expensive person's year's salary getting some design agency to do it. And he said, you know what you're paying for when you go to those kinds of people? And I said, no, what? He said, you're paying because they know when to stop. And I think that that's a really, really interesting and intelligent comment. One of the things it's very tempting to do when you're working on a logo, and I see it in so many people's logos, is it's very tempting to kind of go adding stuff. Oh, it's charging, so let's put a little charging lightning bolt on it, or let's turn this T into a plug, or that kind of thing. Sometimes simplicity and confidence, I think, is better. So that's your update for this week. The logo winds up being very important for companies, and we felt it was important to lock it down with something that we would feel proud to live with for the next kind of decade or more, because we're building these products, and everything we do is about the long term. In last week's update, I showed you a product that I thought was disappointing 15 seconds after it came out of the box. We're trying to make stuff that you're going to feel proud of, way into the future. And if we're fortunate enough that we wind up in retailers across the land and so on, you'll have this feeling inside of you now that I was a part of that and I helped to make that happen. So thank you, and see you on the next update.